Deep Blue Sea 2 is pretty disappointing. I mean, the first one didn't like. It was like it was good, it was entertaining to watch and stuff like that. It was good, but it wasn't anything special. I mean, I guess I don't know, but this one's just like a worse version. It's like a downgrade. It's like an asylum mock of, let's just say Jurassic World. Then you have Jurassic World. Jurassic World. Well, that's not a great example, but whatever. You get my point. It's a downgrade. It's basically the same thing with like the same plot, same scenes, just moved around a teeny bit, just downgrade with worse CGI, worse characters, and all that stuff. But who cares? That was probably what they said in the writing room. Why is a bull shark giving birth to 50 babies even though they only give birth to like 13? Who cares? Why are we making this movie? We're not even going to make that much money. Who cares? Sorry if I sound so unenthused. I'll try to sound more enthused, I guess, later. I don't know. Whatever. So the film starts with some fishermen cutting off a shark's fin, which is a very violent and terrible thing that does actually happen. So fuck these guys. They idiotically ignore a call about how they're in danger. Pay for that when they get killed from shitty CGI, I guess. Amazing. Really setting up the quality of this film. This guy on the boat comes over and is also about to be attacked by the sharks, or by the terrible CGI, but he has this orange clicky thing which makes him swim away from him. We then see this character named Misty swimming around in a really weird credit scene. It's edited really weirdly. It's almost like tonally confusing, and I thought I put on another film or something like that. Which, of course, has a song about the Deep Blue Sea, because, guys, this is Deep Blue Sea 1, I mean 2. We then see Misty again showing some footage of her swimming, but she says that she won't swim with bull sharks, as they'll just black you out with their skull and then eat you, or they'll, knock you out with their skull and eat you. Oh, and also, great whites aren't really killing machines, which is nice to hear. I mean, obviously, I know that, but lots of movies treat them like monsters, so it's refreshing to hear something not wrong, I guess. Even though they're gonna treat bull sharks as complete monsters. Although, I guess it's because they're, altered, but whatever. This guy named Craig Burns talks to her about sharing her expertise with this guy named Carl Durant, or just Carl, for a preservation project, and will fund Misty's whole operation for $50,000. Which is really similar to Jurassic Park, which I believe the first Deep Blue Sea was kind of a bit like, which is fine because they had Samuel L. Jackson from the first movie. We then see that guy with the clicky thing earlier, who I'll just call by his name Trent, and this computer guy named Aaron, who's confused as to how the sharks from earlier got out. Well, it turns out they dug a hole underneath this, fence. You never saw it before? You didn't see it that night? You said you were, checking, so you didn't see that? And how do sharks dig a hole? It's never really explained. Misty meets up with two neurologists, Daniel and Leslie Kim, who don't have any idea what this meeting is about. What an efficient way to set up meetings. Now, what the hell? That's stupid. You just give people a check and tell them to come, but you don't say anything else. Stop being movie levels of vague. They might just leave because they're too confused and they don't want to look like an idiot on a first impression with some smart people. Or they're just like, this is too confusing. Where am I supposed to go? Why are you being vague about this? This seems really shady. This does seem really shady. They could probably think that you're some, I don't know, maybe not drug lord, but, just someone shady and bad. So they may not go. They get on a boat into this big research area with all the people, and I won't try to pronounce the name because it's just I think it's Achilleos or something. It's a little hard to pronounce. Trent tries to patch up the gate as him and Misty meet, and Carl is here, and he talks about the 5 sharks, or bull sharks, whatever. One being named Bella, I guess. She's the head, and Misty gets annoyed that these bull sharks are test subjects and says how they aren't like lab mice. But Carl says nothing bad will happen, which of course means that something bad will happen. That's what happens when you change yourself in a shitty, low-budget movie, or just any movie. Aaron gets thrown into the water, and him and Misty try to get out, but are almost killed by the sharks. But Trent uses his clicky thing to save them. It's like a demonstration, because Carl threw him, which is really stupid. How about you I mean, I guess it's an efficient way to show that it could work, but if not, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of seems like a dick move. But we already saw this, so it's not really surprising that he did this. Maybe you shouldn't have done that part at the beginning. Just have the dudes die, then opening credits. Also, for the opening credits, you didn't need to show us that shark finning is illegal or something like that. We already know. We don't need to hate them more. Okay? I know Decker Shaw pointed this out, but you don't need to point out that's illegal. I could probably tell by myself. Carl and Craig talk about the sharks escaping and how the drugs for them are working, never explaining how they dug a hole. Because, yeah, they're giving them, smart drugs to make them, smarter, or to, beat against robots or whatever. But whatever, who cares about logic when you also got a man downing math drugs? What the hell? It was in another scene, which I forgot to mention, since it's, like, really stupid. It only happens one more time. It's really stupid. Like, you want me to take this seriously? Do you want me to be scared by this movie? Maybe don't have a man downing math drugs, or wonder drugs as they're called. Carl says that once the experiment's over, he will kill the shark, so it's convenient that a shark is just sitting outside of the part that they're in this research facility, just listening. And those sharks always have to swim, except for some types of shark, but I'm pretty sure not bull sharks. Either way, that shot is just laughable and really weird. Is the shark going to plan for revenge? Is his Jaws 4? We cut to Daniel and Leslie Kim talking about they totally won't regret this whole thing, even though they obviously will, and they're obviously going to die. Stop making it so obvious, movie. Oh, and Daniel gave Carl access to some of Leslie's work for 7 months. Do you want me to hate these characters? Do you want me to not give a shit? Because doing stuff like that that's pretty scummy or just idiotic is just... That's something to do if you want me to care about these characters. If you don't want me to care about them, you could just straight up say it. It'll be more blunt, and, I mean, I'll still get on you for not creating good characters, but still. They all are, most of the people reconvene, and Carl talks about the smart drugs and neurotropics, or nootropics, whatever, and it'll make people smarter, and have I mentioned how bad the film looks? The way it looks is just really cheap, and looks like the same color palette as every single asylum film ever. But at least this one doesn't take place in this lab area for most of the film, even though it does actually take place in it for quite a bit of it. By the way, it looks really cheap. Have it be like Deep Blue Sea, or have it be like dark blue and bright red, or just have some contrasting colors. Make the color palette, like, look less cheap. Blue isn't necessarily a bad color, but, like, have some contrast. Have it make, I don't know, add the black bars, make it look better, line up the shots. And the cinematography also is just, like, okay. It's, like, fine. But, I don't know, it's just a certain feel that these movies had that make them look really cheap. I don't know if it's just the way that they look with the color. Maybe they don't have any color correction, and it just looks really amateur. Shark is brought in to be tested, and Carl brings up how artificial intelligence is getting stronger, which is robots, every year, and basically this whole drug thing will combat it. That's just really stupid. Really, super drugs? That's just laughable. That's just, do you want me to take this seriously or what? If you're gonna make this like a cheesy, dumb, fun movie, okay, well, can you at least have, if you want me to not take it seriously, okay, then embrace it. You're trying to take this seriously, which just makes it come off as laughable and really cringy. If you want me to take this seriously, have it be more grounded in reality. And not have everything be so stupid. This dude, as Misty points out, has a god complex. Do you really think this dumbass idea is gonna work? You're a moron. Obviously, this won't work. This is just gonna fail right in your face. This guy named Josh, I think, says to Misty when asked if there's any side effects to the wonder drugs that the sharks can communicate with each other, which can sometimes be a really bad sign. Also, this random boat crashes into a generator, I guess, so the power's out. Amazing. Carl tells Misty that Bella also has some negative behavior, which is funny because when Josh was asked if there was any side effects, he didn't mention this, yet he is nodding to Carl saying this. Did he just lie or withhold info? Why so? Also, Bella is apparently pregnant. Okay, that really just came out of nowhere. The shark attacks Josh in a mirror to the original, but worse, and the shark gets dropped again, except Josh doesn't get his arm ripped off. The generator explodes with some more shitty CGI. It's really all over this film. Another copy from the first, the big meanie shark takes out the cameras. Do something original that isn't shit, please. Turns out Craig is dead, I guess, as he's been ripped apart. Kind of, not really. First death is off screen, that's kind of lame. But it couldn't have been a shark that killed him, or that's what Carl says. Also, turns out the sharks are in a frenzy, so they're staying to kill our protagonist, and they have a grudge. And Bella had her 50-somewhat babies. Never has a bull shark done that. I get they're super sharks, but that's just too many babies. Like, they only have, 1 to 13. That's just over-exaggerating. And I guess those baby sharks killed Craig, as they must have gone in. They decide to swim up through their wet pool to reach topside and send a call or something, and Mike decides to actually do it. Or he's the one to do it. But he gets knocked out, but resuscitated, only to be killed in the same way Burke did in Lake Placid. How many films are you gonna copy Deep Blue Sea 2? Also, just now I realize that Carl's character is basically the evil scientist lady from the first, but he's black, so yay diversity, but he's still a terrible person. And a moron, so nay. The place they're in gets an onslaught of water separating everyone into groups, with Aaron being trapped and killed in a neatly shot way, I guess. Wait, never mind. No, that was Josh. What the heck? Durant busts the door, so Misty can't get to Trent, and so Trent decides to get help. Leslie's finally awake. Oh, yeah, she was, like, knocked out, I guess, for 10 minutes. It was kind of pointless. And, yeah, 10 minutes of this film has already passed. So, yeah, it's pretty pointless. As is so are, waking up, as all she does is just stand around and get killed. Although it was a bit teensy, it was a little bit emotional and a little bit sad because these two, Daniel and Leslie, weren't super annoying except for that one idiotic thing that Daniel did and seemed like nice people. So, yeah. Daniel and Aaron meet up with Misty, but they leave as she tries to defend herself with like a torch or something. Aaron and Daniel go up to slaughter, but Daniel gets ripped apart and dies. So, yeah, thanks, movie. Now the only characters that suck are still alive. Great. Except Aaron, I guess he's just there and it's like, whatever. And Misty is here, and the four get into the water, but of course Carl gets killed after claiming he's Bella's master and shit. Pretty obvious he would die. Misty kills the shark, and everybody's safe, and this shit show ends. That was a bad movie. Really bad. What a waste of my time. Terrible downgraded version of the original, uninteresting characters, boring as hell, stupid deaths most of the time. I didn't care about any of the characters, they didn't go through any arcs, none of them learned anything. And just the fact that it wasn't entertaining, it's like laughable. But like also trying to be serious at the same time, so it's just really confusing. It's like, do you want to be serious or funny? Just embrace either one. Maybe embrace the silly one because it's like more realistic. The film just doesn't care about logic, doesn't care about anything. None of the characters are good. Everyone is stupid or just there. They don't have anything to do. The sharks aren't scary. They're barely in this movie, actually. Most of the time it's just the baby sharks, but they're also barely in this movie, and nothing really happens until 50 minutes into the film where the sharks actually escape, and then it's just 40 minutes, or really like 30 minutes. It's just them walking around. It's like scenes from the original Mishmashed, moved around, and yeah, the sharks are barely in it, so it's like so lame and uninteresting. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.